Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem testified before a Senate committee this afternoon for the first time since the shooting deaths of two American citizens in Minnesota by federal agents. During her testimony, senators from both sides of the aisle criticized the secretary over her handling of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. In an exchange with Democratic Senator Dick Durbin, Secretary Noem refused to retract her statement claiming the victims, Renee Good and Alex Preddy, were engaged in acts of, quote, domestic terrorism. Later, Republican Senator Thom Tillis said Noem's tenure has been a disaster. CBS News Homeland Security correspondent Nicole Sganga joins us now. So how did the secretary respond to this criticism, and how uncommon is it for a Republican senator like Tillis to go after a sitting GOP cabinet member?
Yeah, Lindsay, we saw something very rare during today's hearing, and that was bipartisan scrutiny and criticism of a sitting cabinet member, despite the sort of controversial nature of what was being discussed. And one of the biggest topics discussed, of course, was Operation Metro Surge, and specifically Secretary Noem's response to the fatal shootings of both Alex Preddy and Renee Good. And in her defense, she said that, things were chaotic on the ground in Minnesota when she was receiving information from her team and from agents, and said that she didn't exactly have, one steady stream of information when she called both of the victims of those attacks domestic terrorists. But the scrutiny expanded beyond just what happened in Minnesota. It was interesting to hear from the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Chuck Grassley, who made it very clear that he was concerned that the Department of Homeland Security is restricting congressional oversight of classified reports on vulnerabilities in airport security, claimed that the Department of Homeland Security had forbidden the DHS Inspector General from accessing TSA personnel along with the Government Accountability Office. We also heard from Tillis, as you mentioned there, who accused the secretary of misallocating immigration enforcement resources and also slowing the disaster response within FEMA. Of course, Tillis coming from a hard-hit state of North Carolina that has felt some hurricane and flooding damage in recent years. So it was fascinating to see not just the bipartisan scrutiny, but also the range of topics in which the secretary had to try to defend herself. But she was, found largely flat-footed on a number of issues here today.
She was also pressed on her $200 million ad campaign. What was said?
Yeah, I want to play some sound from Senator Kennedy from Louisiana. Take a listen.
How do you square that concern for waste, which I share, with the fact that you have spent $220 million running television advertisements that feature you prominently?
Sir, the president tasked me with getting the message out to the country and to other countries where we were seeing the invasion come from, with putting commercials out that told them that if they were in this country illegally, that they needed to leave, or we would detain them and remove them, and they'd not get the chance to come back to America the right way. That has been extremely effective.
And Congressman Adam Schiff also shared in this line of questioning, Lindsay, accusing the secretary of choosing a contractor to run this ad campaign that was only 11 days old and that had some ties to a family member of one of her staff members. So a lot of questions in the wake of this hearing. And I think the biggest one will be, will this harm Secretary Noem's prospects of staying the Department of Homeland Security secretary in the coming days, weeks, and months?
Nicole Sganga, thank you.